My name's Maile Stant, originally from Hawaii, but currently living in Southern California. I have a 4-year-old daughter named Keliko. I'm a hula instructor. I have my own hula halau. Pretty much encompassed most of my adult life is teaching hula and dancing hula professionally around the world. And so that was my life prior to surrogacy, and during surrogacy, I continued to teach and dance. I just converted a van. We are going to be doing the continental US and doing all the national parks, me and my daughter. That will be our next great adventure after this one. I'm currently a little over 8 months pregnant with my first Suro baby. I was splitting my time between Southern California and Hawaii, 2 of the 3 most expensive states in the US. I'm a single mom, so it was totally sustainable. But in terms of wanting to think ahead and get a step forward, I started to really ask those big questions of, what could I do that I can still maintain a few things that are really important to me, like raising my daughter full time. I knew I wanted to homeschool since I found out I was pregnant with her. I knew I wanted to kind of do a little bit more of an unconventional parenting path. It's getting to a point where I was like, okay, well, I really want to stay home still and be that constant figure in her life. And then I was looking at what I was really good at and things that I enjoyed, and that things that would not interfere with some of my current goals and aspirations. I was just sitting on the couch with my sister one day. I was like, well, I'm really good at being pregnant. And when I actually had my daughter, I knew that she was going to be my only child. I didn't know if I wanted children of my own. And then when I had her, if I could conjure the perfect child, she was it. She was everything that I could have asked for. And I was like, I don't think you get that twice. It was like, I don't want to roll the dice again. I was like, I have a lot of friends with multiple kids, and it seems like that first one is really quote unquote easy, and the second one comes in like a hurricane to just tell you that you don't know anything about being a mom, and that nothing that you did for the first one is going to work for this one. So I had kind of known and was pretty confident and set my decision that my daughter was going to be my only child, but I almost mourned the fact that I wasn't going to be pregnant again. When I'm pregnant, I just feel so powerful, and I love it. And I am blessed with quote unquote easy pregnancies. So I just thought it would be a really good fit. And then I had been an egg donor in college, and she's now 10. But I have such an amazing relationship with that family. And so I've had a little taste of what it's like to give a family this gift of completing their family, oftentimes that they've been working toward for years, decades even. So I knew that it was something that I was going to be interested in. So that's kind of how, and then in terms of Hawaii surrogacy, it was really, we were already thinking about living part-time in Southern California, but at that time we were full-time residents in Hawaii. And so it was really just came down to a Google search of surrogacy in Hawaii, and Hawaii surrogacy popped up. So, and it's just been so streamlined and so smooth. And yeah, I couldn't have asked for a better agency or representation. I've always had this internal motivation to help. I just feel I didn't want children of my own. So I had always felt like, wow, I'm making that choice purely out of choice. I have the ability, and I was always just so curious to think if that would have changed if it wasn't a choice and it was more of a physiological restriction. So that was kind of the curiosity kind of led down the road of me becoming an egg donor. And then that story in itself, it's just one of those moments that you're like, no, this was supposed to happen in this way. Egg donation is typically completely anonymous. And by just chance, they found me. And I had run for Miss Hula, which is kind of like the Olympics of hula, and then the soloist division. And my profile picture, they had come to Hawaii. They were from Australia. So a lot of couples would come to Hawaii because it was the closest available egg donation place that they could do it. And so they were coming for their second round. And she had walked past a shop that was selling the DVD of Miss Lohula. And my performance as she walked by came on. My name was there. And so she kind of like stalked me on Facebook for a little bit. And finally, I got off of work one night and she had just written the most beautiful email about like how just her gratitude and how amazing their child has been. And yeah, it is crazy because she does have so many of my traits, like genetically were very similar and our interests were very similar and her talents of what she's naturally talented in, but just being raised by the most amazing family. And we've created this family. She was the first person I called when I found out I was pregnant with my own daughter. I was like texting her like, are you awake yet? Because the time difference in Australia. And we've just like created this life together, so I knew that surrogacy, I do think it does take a particular type of person, maybe one that's not completely emotionally driven. I'm typically more of a logical person. I believe things are supposed to happen the way that they happen. This journey has totally confirmed that as well. Like I've had such an interesting story. I was matched with a previous couple and that had ended up falling through. And then while I was going up for a transfer, I was reached out from my best friend's sister's best friend and just asking about the agency because she's been in as an intended parent. She's been in the process for years and has just had the worst luck with agencies. At that point, I didn't know that my initial intended father was going to drop my cycle the day before my transfer. So I was already headed up like on a plane with my best friend. And I get this email to make the link with Hawaii Surrogacy. And then we ended up matching. So now I'm caring for my best friend's sister's best friend. So it's been like an incredible, like everything is meant to happen for a reason. I've had such a colorful life. And I don't think that anything that I would tell my family at this point would surprise them. So they just thought it was so on brand. And I think all of them know me so well, and they know that I'm so content with me and my daughter. And I've been so vocal about truly knowing that I didn't want any more children. And I love the life that me and my daughter have. So I think that I personally didn't experience any sort of negative response. I think everyone just was so supportive. I haven't been around my really my closest friends. I haven't been around them in really since I've become an adult. I've always just, I was traveling the world with my hula for so many years. And then I was in Hawaii and a lot of them moved to Southern California and they're all like really in the same vicinity. So I'm getting to have all the experiences that they miss too. Like they didn't get to see me pregnant. They didn't get to touch my belly. And so I'm having this like kind of hanaho or like replay of doing pregnancy with some of my closest, my best friends, my support person in the delivery room, and like I can't wait for that experience. Like I think it's just going to be the funnest birthing experience to have your best friend like being your partner in this. I've had a really amazing support system that I couldn't ask for anything else. But like I said, I think it was like their response was like, yeah, this is definitely something we could see Maile doing. Yeah, it's so fun. Like I was just telling, they're like, do you think you're going to do it? I was like, I'm going to do this until they kick me out. Like, this is so fun. I was like, and I just really, it's been so fun too, because the mom's in San Diego. So she's semi-local and she comes to all the ultrasounds and it's just something that you can't, I don't know if you could explain that feeling of like being a part of something so special that means so much, being able to give them this particular gift, like until you go through it, it's just one of the most like rewarding experiences I think you could give yourself. Oh, totally. I think you just have to be really transparent about what your life looks like and what your support system is. And here, like I said, I have so many family members and so many friends that can step in to watch my daughter on those appointments that she can't make it to. For my general OB appointments, she's pretty much come to every appointment, but those ultrasound appointments or any appointments that they're still kind of doing the one person or the one guest per visit, obviously I give complete priority to the mom being there, the intended mom being there. For me, I haven't really had to change any part of my life, and it almost is way easier, like not having to deal with a partner during pregnancy. I just have found it way more enjoyable. I think there's so many benefits to doing this as a single woman, as long as you do have the right support system in place, for sure. There really wasn't a conversation that had to be had, which was really kind of a luxury. With our life, when her father was in the picture, I kind of did everything anyway. So I think there would have been this expectation of help and then like disappointment if the help wasn't there. Me and my daughter know exactly what our life looks like. We know exactly how we roll together. So there was no adding a third wheel to the mix. It was like, and then it was a lot easier to be transparent because I could tell them exactly what our life looked like together. Where I think when you have a partner, partners can change too, so you're like, well, this is kind of what our normal is, but like he's another totally full-fledged adult human being that can have issues with his job and, just adult problems.